Hey there folks, today I'm going to do a review for once. Now, it's very rare when I do reviews. It's mainly because I will only do a review on something that I've bought, and generally I don't have a lot of money coming in, so yeah, hence why it's quite rare. But today I'm going to actually do a camera review. It is on the Canon. It's a Canon EOS 600D series. Now this is classed as more of a mid-range camera. You do have lower versions. For instance, you have the 1000, the 1100, and there's a few other different types as well. I would class them as more intermediate cameras, if anything. If you're quite new to photography, you're best to stick with something like one of those series. Otherwise, the more you work up the series, then you jump up to the 550D, sorry, the 500, the 550, and then the 600, then there's more and more and more after that. Certainly even the 500 series is quite a nice camera. It's just literally they do cut out a few features, like I think it was the megapixels do drop, the sensor changes quite a bit, the screen on the back was a bit more different as well. But anyway, we'll forget those for now. This is the 600D, so this is more of a stage, I would say, where you know what you're doing and you just want to do a bit more tweaking as well. So this is where this comes into it. So as you can see on the box, shows you a picture of the units. This is a multi-pack unit, so as part of this you actually get a remote control. This is for either, well, it's a wireless remote control. What else do you expect with it, really? It's gonna, so you can do more wireless captions, so you can have the camera set up, press the button and away it takes photos, change a few quick settings to it. You do get an extra battery as well, that come in quite handy, especially if you're going on holidays. Batteries generally cost between anything of £30 up to maybe £70, depending on make, manufacturer, age. There's all sorts of things. The older the camera, the cheaper the battery will become, but if it gets too old, it might become quite rare to get hold of them. So I've not opened this up at all, where most reviewers, they would open it up, see if everything's there and so on. I've not opened this up one little bit. So even, for instance, the plastic seal is still on there. So let me just grab some scissors. Some skizzers. Now, I've just got this camera today. The main reason we got it was because we did have a test of one, and we found it was absolutely brilliant, and it was just a spur of the moment. We thought, right, we'll go out and get one. So here we are, we did. Right, very top of the box, it's shows you two items. Literally, you've got the, let's start with one. Let me shift my mouse out of the way. So first of all, this will be the wireless remote control. Let me just get this properly open to you. Oh, cool! It comes with a little pouch as well. Actually, in fact, that's quite a nice little feature. Instead of just having a mouse, little controller thrown around. I was actually expecting this. Oh, come on! I was actually expecting this remote to be even, in fact, a little bit bigger, a bit more chunkier, in fact. So yeah, there's a little pouch to it. I do apologise, my iMac camera isn't the best. Nice little bit of Velcro. It's designed to hook onto something as well, hook onto your belts by the looks of it. There must be a buckle somewhere. So that's quite a nice little handy feature. The remote control, as I said, I was actually expecting it to be a little bit bigger. That's pretty small unit, in fact, actually. Nice little feel. Button's quite simple. I think it's actually just literally the one button. It must just be so that you would use this to help to capture straight away. Has a, I think that's an on-off button on the back of it. I think it could be. You may be able to see that. Yep, there you go. Little on-off button at the back there. I think it is. Oh, bless you me. So I'm just going to pop that in its little bag for the meantime, because it's pretty awesome. Snug as a bug. Let's get those out of the way. Anyway, that's the first bit. Second bit is certainly you do get their second battery, proper packaging as well. It's not like it's just simply thrown in the box. It's proper Canon packaging to that. Nice little thing. I did get myself some memory cards as well for the camera, and the box actually comes in another box. How would you expect that? So we'll dump that down there. So this is purely just the camera now. It's just stating a few things on the back here about what software it works with, which as we would expect nowadays, it's going to be XP, Vista, Windows 7, Mac OS X. Needs a minimum of an Intel Pentium processor at 1.3 gigahertz, which if you want to use their software you can, otherwise use third-party software. So on the front of the box here, I'll just run you through a few bits and bobs. Pretty much straight away is that you do have standard lens to it, so it's an 18 to 55mm lens, standard unit, but you can always upgrade it to get smaller ones or bigger ones depending on what you're going to be doing. On the front as well here, it is an 18 megapixel camera, so it's a lot more higher quality, a lot more detail to it, better the quality, but it will be using a lot more memory on the memory card, so it's an advantage, but it's a bit of a disadvantage as well. The only advantage you'd get from the 18 megapixels, if you really want to do photo editing, it'll come out absolutely perfect with it. Some people may disagree with that. Certainly, okay, it's nice to get really good detailed photos, but it's mainly the advantage of having photo editing. Otherwise you can get a lower quality one and it will still do perfectly good photos, still play in high definition, all that type of stuff, but it's just you may find a bit more of a hassle to do photo editing. It is also a CMOS sensor in this now compared to a standard sensor. What a CMOS sensor is, I have no idea what a CMOS stands for, so please don't ask me that. All I know is what it does. It pretty much primarily, if you're taking photos in dark situations or low lit situations, it pretty much tones in everything quite nicely, so it really does give it a proper good layer of a photo, compared to if you were taken with a normal standard camera with low lighting. It would either be the low lights would stand out quite a bit, but the rest of the photo would be quite dark. It just levels things out quite nicely. It's a really good little sensor to it. I always say iOS to this, but it's ISO. Is 6400 to it, so just more lights you can deal with, play around with, all sorts of things there. This has Canon's A+ sensor. Now I was using this quite a lot today, in fact. What that pretty much does, it's just like an auto intelligence sensor. It does all the hard work for you, determines of what ISO it's going to have, what megapixels it's going to be running at. There's a whole thing, and also obviously if it's going to be putting in scenery or if it's going to be dealing with what's called a beauty shot. There's all sorts of things to it. They've got something called their, I think is Vari, could be Vary, I don't know. It's V-A-R-I. I'm going to call it Vary for this. Vari angle LCD. Now what you'll see on this, for instance, actually on the side here, side the box, I will be showing you this in full. It's got actually a picture of the camera, and it's got a little side section to it. Now what that is, your screen actually flips out. We've seen this done on quite a few other cameras in the past, like Sony and Panasonic, quite a bit there. Does have their movie HD. Now this will deal with full 1080p, where some of their lower series or their standard series like the 1000Ds and the 1100Ds, they will only deal with 720p. Still a good quality, but I think the 1080p does help out quite a bit in this situation. But you will have to look into your memory card. And also video snapshot. Now what that means is pretty much that you will be able to, while taking a video, you can still take a quick picture in there as well. So if you think that's worth a picture taken while filming through a festival, certainly it'll do that. A few of the quick things on the top here, let me just see if there's anything worthwhile. SDXC, which is quite standard now. Creative filters. It's got basic function to it, so no one can really get confused. And it actually has mini HDMI as well to it, so plug up to high definition telly, no problem. So let's crack this open. As we always expect. Okay, how would you like a picture of bug in your face? That's a very nice appetizing thing to get straight away in the box there, I must admit. So you get that. That must be something, don't know. Manual, all unpackaged here. You got a manual to it. Looks like there's a CD in there as well. All their standard stuff, really. I'm sure if you get this camera, you can have a look through it. Now, it's just saying to me here that you can get some extras as well in future. So certainly smaller lenses, bigger lenses, fisheye lenses. There's all sorts of things to it. You can get a flash gun, cases, different types of arm straps with pedestals. There's loads of stuff you can get for them. Obviously, you don't have to use Canon stuff. You can get third-party accessories. Straight away on the top of the box, 3-pin plug mains to figure 8 cable, standard for the UK. We have pretty much here, we have mini USB to red, white and yellows for television. That'll only give you standard definition though, so if you're going to go HD, you have to buy yourself a HDMI cable, because Kodak do not give it in the box. Don't see why they should really, but that's the way things are. USB cable to mini USB as well, again for connected to a computer. Canon's arm strap, always nice and handy. I must admit, an arm strap or a neck strap, whatever you want to call it, they do come in really handy. I was carrying this camera around for most of the day without an arm strap, and after a while I found that my hands were sweating. I was more worried about dropping it. Just generally it makes it a lot much easier, so certainly if you have yourself a neck strap, use it if you possibly can. I'll do the camera last if possible. You get a charger block. Now some people find this is at an advantage or disadvantage, because if you do ever want to charge a battery, you can't just charge it straight in the camera, you have to use one of these charger blocks. The advantage about it is that you can have multiple batteries charged all in one go, and then certainly away you go the next day. So that figure 8 cable will go straight in the bottom there, and then it'll start charging. It should take about 2 to 3 hours to get the battery charging, and it should last quite a long time. There's another battery for it. And what I'll do is I'll take the lens out first of all, put that back in the box, keep these. I always keep my boxes, you never know. So here we go, here's the standard lens. This is the 18, just let me see if you can see this here. So it's 18 to 55mm lens it is. I was about to say 35 there for some reason. They do add a few of their features into it, that you do have stabilizer on or off. So what that is basically for is that when you do have it on, whenever you're taking photos, it's not necessarily about the fact of moving. It does help a little bit, but it actually stops a lot of blurriness, because generally with most cameras, if you're taking a photo and you may not notice yourself, but if you move ever so slightly, or if your object moves ever so slightly, you might get a bit of blurriness if there's too low light or too much light. So that helps out quite a bit. AF and MF on the side there, don't know if you can see that. There you go, AF and MF. That basically means that you can have auto focusing or manual focusing. If you have it on manual focusing, the actual end becomes able to rotate. So it's a nice feature. I use that a good couple of times again today, because it just gives you a lot more clarity if you want to have different functions to it. So brilliant little lens, but as I said, that's a standard lens to it. Okay, now let's get the body. Nice, well packed they are. Again, pop that in the box, keep everything. Right, okay, and here's the body. So, brilliant little unit. Has Canon's easy clip-on for their for the lenses. It's basically when you take the sensor or the protection off and take the cap off the lens as well. There's 2 red dots, just line them up, they clip straight together, very easy. Everyone to take them off, you've got a little button here, press that and then twist the lens off. It comes off very easily and you can swap over to your next camera. Now, I don't know where to start actually. Personally, with my own feeling to it, it's got a really nice hold. It really does. It really fits around your fingers very nicely. Has quick access for your memory card straight down the side, so you can just pop that straight open, pop a different memory card in, and away you go. Whereas some of the lower models, you may notice you have to actually go into the battery panel to change to a different memory card, which I find is a bit of a hassle because they're not the easiest things to open all the time. Along the side here, you have a few different connections. I'm not too sure what this very top one is. I think it's for extra sensors and other bits and bobs. The bottom one there is if you want an extra microphone going into it. It just looks like a 3.5mm jack on the bottom and a 2.5mm jack on the top. The section next to it, this is your selections for your cards. Sorry, not your cards, your cables. So you've got your micro USB on the very top here. I do apologize if you can't see very well. USB on the top there. That is for connection to your computer or using the standard component cables to your television. Again, remember, not HD. Otherwise, then you do have a mini HDMI on the bottom there, so certainly you can connect it up and play full high definition on the unit. So that's the two sides. Battery panel on the bottom and standard screw fitting for all your what are they called now? Mounts, whatever, pedestals, stands, whatever. Standard eyepiece, and you do have a flash gun on the top. Sorry, not a flash gun, a standard flash to it. Now you do have the option between all the settings that you can have it as automatic, and so when it thinks it's not bright enough, it will just pop up straight away and start taking photos. It is going to use more of your battery though. As well, on the top here you see this little sliding grid. That is where you can fit a flash gun. Now when you do have a flash gun mounted, it automatically takes over and it won't open up your standard one. So nice little feature. It's quite common nowadays in cameras, but just thought I'd let you know. Right, you do have your capture button on the very top of the unit here. Let me turn the light on, actually you might be able to see a little bit better. There we go, that's much better. Capture button on top here. As with most cameras, hold it halfway down. It'll focus, it'll do all the rest itself, and then press the rest way, capture the photo. Quite easy. Very, very nice on-off button. I do love their on-off button, so I do apologise. I will keep on saying I apologise. There's your on-off there. It is a nice fluent switch. It's nothing where it's just a little flick of a button and it does it. It's a really nice solid switch to it. Even the wheel as well is nice. Do have a lot of features to it here. So I'll just run through them. You have ADEP, you have manual, you have AV, TV, P, you have A+, which again is their automatic focusing and auto feature. You have, well, there's a picture of no flash, so that is basically auto again, but it will take off the flash function. You have CA, you have beauty shot, which picture a face. You have landscape, which obviously picture mountains. You have macro, which is a picture of a flower, as we all know. You have a running person, that is for sports. This does come in very good for sports motion. It's got a little bit more of a capture rate to it. There's a picture of a man with a star. I'm not too sure what that one is. And then you have a video camera, which is your video camera functions. The bit I love most about it though is the screen. So straight away you can pop that up and you can rotate it all the way around. Some people may find it useless, but it depends on your own personal view and how you're going to use it. Now, for instance, whenever I'm using a camera and taking photos, I never use the screen unless if I'm wanting just to see settings. I always use the eyepiece because that's the best way you get the proper angle for everything and you see everything truly. Whenever you go through the screen, some people still say you don't see truly what you're going to get, which in some cases may be right. A lot of manufacturers don't do it 100% nowadays, but you can still use it if you wish to. You do have a little button on the side here, which is pretty much you can tell to turn the screen on or off or sleep or so on. But the main advantage about the screen is that if you are taking shots and you want to try and get as low as possible, you can rotate the screen up, have this close to the ground, but you can still see what's going on compared to try and get your head down with the eyepiece. Or again, if you're up, going above a crowd of people, hold it up, and you can actually have it at more of an angle, so it makes it much easier to see again. So brilliant little unit. Very simple on the display, as they've stated it on their box. I think it was easy function. It's very well laid out compared to most other cameras. I'm just going to move this light in a little bit here just so you can see a little bit better. There we go. So as you can see here, just straight away directional functions. Sorry, I'm looking over there. That's my screen. You do have your directional functions here. That is also your viewing, trash can, and then that's to change like your functions and setting to it. So you can change your ISOs to a lower or higher quality if you wish to let more light in. Top here, that is your menu and that is your info. Info is just purely, it'll give you a quick information of what setting you're on and what quality you're going to get, all the little features to it on the screen. And menu, obviously that'll change a lot more setting functions to it, so you can format your card, tell it to not take full 18 megapixels, take lower qualities, size of photos, all that type of stuff. So yeah, it's a very nice little unit. So what I'll do anyway, while we are recording, I will actually pop on the lens. Now, where's the red dot? Oh, there it is. So, as I said, you just pop it straight on, you match the dots up, and then it clicks into place. Very simple to it. So there we go, that's the camera now up and running. Now it is a little bit heavier than some of the Baby Year ranges. Certainly it's still a nice quality though. It has everything you need to. It feels quite nice and robust in weight, and even just quality wise, it certainly feels a bit more tough. Being in electrical retail, I do test and demo these every day just about, and it's something, this is one of my more well-known ranges, I would say. Any of the other ones, it is literally, you want a lower camera. Whenever I'm selling one of these cameras, I do pretty much straight away say to them, are you new to digital SLRs, or do you know what you're doing, or do you extremely know what you're doing? If they say they're new, I wouldn't say go for this as a starting range for them. I would say go for a 1000, 1500, at a push of 500. Otherwise, if they know what they're doing, start at 500s and working up the way. But pretty much if they are an expert at cameras, they should know exactly what they want straight away out of the box. That's where they will go for some of their higher quality ranges. But then again, you'll notice cameras are a lot bigger because the sensors are bigger again, but they have a hell of a lot more functions. May use different lenses though as well when it goes up to the higher ranges. Good thing about the D series, or the EOS series should I say, they tend to use pretty much the same lenses all across the range, so it does help out with making things a lot easier on choice to it when it comes to upgrading, compared to some of the manufacturers, say Panasonic. With their G series, their lenses are quite expensive because you have to use their lenses, whereas if you choose between a Canon or a Nikon camera, you can always use third-party manufacturer lenses. I don't know what else to actually say about the camera. I'll give you a rundown, a few of the specs. I've got them jotted down for you. So as we know, it's an 18 megapixel camera with a CMOS sensor. The size of the CMOS sensor is 22.3 by 14.9 millimeters. So it's ever so slightly bigger than some of the other series, so like the 1000 there's not a big difference. It's only like a fraction of a millimeter, or I think it's a millimeter or so. Not a big difference, but it may come in handy in some situations. As we know, the lens, that's fine. The digital zoom doesn't actually have any, because you don't use digital zoom when it comes to a camera of this size. You're always optical, which is why you change your lenses so much. It does have burst modes available to it, so you can tell it to take 1 shot, 3 shots, I think it's 5 shots, and then continuous shots as well. Has a timer as standard, has I think it's a 3-second delay or a 10-second delay. I think a maximum was a 15. No, sorry, 10's the maximum. It was 10's maximum to it. Does obviously record in full HD with video and sound as well on that level of things. You do have the option as well of using just the optical live view, or certainly going to the screen if you wish to on that level of things. What else do I have jotted down? Standard format was PAL and NTSC, so it'll work here, or if you're going to America, or well, pretty much anywhere around the world. SD, as we know. Did I jot down about the speeds? I cannot remember. Oh, I've got the weight of it, in fact, actually. The body only, if you wanted to try and, if you're a bit more cautious about weights of them, the body itself is 570 grams. So it's not extremely bad, but so if you want it more compact and lightweight, that's where you may want to look into a different manufacturer, just to see how things go with them. We know about the remote control, yeah. That's quite standard stuff to it. But yeah, it's a brilliant camera. I would highly recommend it. Obviously, I've not used this one in my hands just yet, but I have been demoing one all day today, and that is literally what made me want to go out and buy myself one, because especially if it's going to be going away on holiday or family events, it's become a great camera. It will be. Now, I do hope this video has helped you out quite a lot, certainly if it has, or if you have any questions, certainly leave any comments down below. I will certainly try and answer you as much as possible. If you like the video, certainly go ahead and like it or favorite it, or if you do want to see more reviews or check out my other videos, please subscribe, and you may see some more coming along in the future. So for the meantime, goodbye.